Have you ever wondered what it would be like if Einstein, Steve Jobs, and your child's brain had a party? Welcome to the Neuroquirky Nexus, where we celebrate the extraordinary minds of our neurodiverse children. Welcome to you amazing parents and caregivers to this podcast. Here we are going to navigate the colorful world of neurodiversity, and we're going to explore holistic, out-of-the-box solutions for children and teens with ADHD, stress, anxiety, and other neuroquirks. Each week we'll dive into practical, brain-based techniques and quirky strategies to help your child thrive. I'm Lori Bloyer, a former veteran teacher turned holistic neurogrowth, learning, and life success coach. As a parent of a neurodiverse child myself, I've spent the last 20 years researching, experimenting, and developing unconventional approaches to support these unique minds. I myself have ADHD diagnosed later in life, and thank goodness, now I understand some of my neuroquirks, and I am going to give you, from my years of teaching in the classroom, my son and myself, several tips, tricks, strategies to help you and your child thrive and create peace at home and joy in your life. So, are you ready? Let's get quirky. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Neuroquirky Nexus. Looks like we took a week off last week for a little rest and relaxation for the new year, and I wish all of you a wonderful 2025 ahead. And I'm really excited to share with you my upcoming workshop that, one, will be on January 25th, but there will be many to follow, I'm sure. So I'm starting a new series of workshops to really work with parents to give you quick, actionable tips, tricks, strategies to help your child have the best year possible and to help your family find peace in the home again and fall in love with each other all over again. So I'm really hoping these strategies will help, along with these podcasts and my lives that I will be restarting as well. But we're getting ready for our really exciting workshop on January 25th, 2025. So not sure when you're listening to this, I might have had several workshops since then. But as of today, depending on when you're listening to this and when it was released, we are getting ready for our workshop in about 20 days. So it's so exciting. There is information to register for the workshop in the show notes. So please make sure you check those out. And I would love to have you join us for the workshop, which is all about from stress to success. We want you to be really successful working with your child. And I've got a couple really cool tips and tricks and strategies up my sleeve that you can start implementing right away to help your child succeed. So please join me and our other friends on January 25th and other days to be announced for this really fun live workshop. And if you miss it, then a recorded workshop. All right. So in that theme, of course, you know that I really am a proponent of strength-based parenting, strength-based teaching, and looking at your child's strengths as a way to get you out of the pit, the sadness, the depression, the worry, the anxiety, the fear, the chaos, whatever word you want to use, to get you out of that and reframe your mind as the parent toward how to see your child as their strengths, how to see what may be challenging for you, challenging for a neurotypical adult as a strength. So you ready? Let's get quirky. So today we're going to be exploring a revolutionary way to view your child's ADHD, one that could really transform your daily challenges into opportunities for growth. So let me start with a question that might feel familiar. Have you ever watched your child spend 3 hours mastering a new video game? Or doing anything, art, exercise, anything for a lengthy period of time? And do you see that they are figuring out complex strategies, collaborating with teammates online in this game-based scenario? They might, though, struggle to focus for 15 minutes on homework, and you wonder why. You pull your hair out. How is this possible? Or they might remember every detail about their favorite topic, like Pokemon or horses or their favorite game or their favorite book, but they forget basic instructions like go brush your teeth. Parents often come to me saying, my child is so bright, but, and that but is usually followed by a list of challenges. But can't sit still, but doesn't follow directions, but loses everything, but gets overwhelmed easily, right? You know it. You've said it. We've all been there. I know with me and my son as well. Today, I want to challenge that but and show you why these perceived challenges might actually be signposts pointing to your child's unique cognitive strengths. So let me share with you 2 powerful stories that changed how I view ADHD. With my clients, of course, you know stories from my son as well, and from myself now that I have hindsight, but let's look at some clients. First, there's Sarah's son, Marcus. At 8 years old, Marcus could spend hours building his incredible Lego creations. We're talking detailed spaceships with working landing gear, cockpits that opened and closed, and even bathroom. Yes. He understood complex building instructions and could even improvise on his own and design models on the fly. But let's talk about his backpack. It was what Sarah called a black hole, or what teachers called a disaster, right? I remember I used to look at some of my students and be like, what can you ever find in there? Homework disappeared, permission slips vanished, and lunch containers, well, of course, they were lost forever. Traditional organization methods like checklists and reminder notes failed miserably. As we know, those sometimes do. The breakthrough came when we watched Marcus organize his Lego collection. He had an intricate system. Pieces were sorted by color in different bins, specialty parts in different containers, and instruction booklets, well, they were even organized by theme. That's when it hit us. Marcus's spatial thinking wasn't a distraction. It was his superpower. It was his amazing skill, his amazing, wonderful brain. And we transformed his backpack using the simple principles. We just looked at it as his Lego collection. Clear zipper pouches for different subjects, color-coded folders that created a visual map, and a pictorial checklist, right? Pictures on the front pocket. And within weeks, not only was his backpack organized, but he started applying the same systems to his bedroom, his desk, and even his daily routine. And yes, it took struggle, it took reminders, it took those pictorial guides, but yeah, he started to see that it's possible to organize other areas of his life. Let's talk about another coachee that came to me, Emma. She was 13 and her teachers were at their wits' end because she kept interrupting class with seemingly random comments. During a lesson about the American Revolution, she suddenly asked about tea prices in modern China. What? I know as a teacher, we would just shake our head and say, what? While studying photosynthesis, she'd bring up solar panels. Her parents were called in for multiple conferences about her disruptive behavior, interruptive behavior, rude behavior. Some teachers actually saw it as defiant behavior. But when we looked closer, we actually discovered something fascinating. Emma wasn't being disruptive. She was making connections faster than she could process them. Those random comments actually showed remarkable pattern recognition. I know I felt this way myself when I'm making connections faster than others, and what comes out of my mouth is like Emma's, right? It was a connection in my mind that was very clear, but in other people's it just sounded rude and interrupting. It's hard. It's hard. So back to Emma, we worked with Emma's teachers to create what we called connection moments, designated times in class when students could share how the topic linked to other subjects or real-world applications. Emma's interruptions became valuable contributions. She started keeping a connections journal. In fact, even some teachers put this on a whiteboard so students could draw connections when they were seeing them. So she could keep in this journal, though, her ideas and insights for later discussion instead of interrupting. By the end of the semester, her history teacher was using her unexpected connections to help other students grasp complex historical patterns. And her science teacher invited her to do a presentation on how ancient plant adaptations inspire modern sustainable technology. Isn't that cool? If we can just harvest our child's brain and their unique superpowers, so much is possible. And I actually have a quiz in the show notes too. Please take the quiz to learn about your child's amazing brain and how to help them as well, and what strengths they're coming to you with. So we really, as adults, have to reframe the way we think in order to welcome this new thought process, these new brains, this new way of thinking. This is what I call the ADHD strength lens. It's about seeing behaviors not as problems to fix, but as clues to your child's unique way of processing the world. Think of it like a camera lens. When you adjust the focus, suddenly everything becomes clearer. In my years of working with ADHD children, I've identified distinct strength patterns. Some children, like Marcus, are visual spatial powerhouses. They think in pictures and excel in seeing how things fit together. Others, like Emma, are what I call connective thinkers. They see patterns in relationships that others miss entirely. Then there are the kinesthetic processors, who quite literally need to move to think, and deep dive specialists who can master complex subjects when they align with their interests. So here's what fascinates me, though. These strength patterns show up consistently in specific combinations. A child who excels in visual spatial tasks often combines this with other deep dive focus or kinesthetic processing. A connective thinker frequently shows strong emotional intelligence alongside their pattern recognition abilities. This quiz, it's not another diagnostic tool. We have plenty of those. Instead, it's just a fun quiz that helps parents identify their child's unique combination of cognitive strengths. When parents understand these patterns, you can start turning daily challenges into opportunities for growth. So again, I call this whole thing that we just talked about the ADHD strength lens. And we're going to learn about that in the workshop coming up, this ADHD strength lens. We're going to go into it and talk about your child particularly, but it's about seeing behaviors not as problems to fix, but as clues to your child's unique way of processing the world. Remember, it's like a camera lens. When you adjust the focus, suddenly everything becomes clearer. Can you see it now? Can you see what I'm talking about? So here's 3 common ADHD traits and how they might actually be hidden as strengths. And again, in my quiz, I have much more, but here's just a few, because I think time is getting short. So first, that child who can't sit still, the teacher's been calling you in for a parent conference, probably, or teachers, you were wondering how to work with this child that can't sit still. They're often showing kinesthetic intelligence, meaning they learn to process through movement. Rather than forcing stillness, we can harness this energy for learning. Second, the child who seems to daydream, well, they might be visual spatial thinkers, processing information in pictures rather than words. This same trait is valuable in fields like architecture, engineering, and art, amongst many others, which I can't wait to share with you. Third one that we can talk about is the child who jumps from topic to topic, right? Or a squirrel, as I like to call it. They see squirrels all over the place. They're often showing divergent thinking, which is a crucial skill for innovation and creative problem solving. So important in the job market nowadays. That's what employers are hiring for. Can the child think divergently in different aspects? So I know what you might be thinking, though. This sounds really nice, yes, but it really doesn't help me with getting them out the door in the morning, Lori. How does it really help with those real world challenges? And that's why I'm hosting this workshop, because I want to share with you how we can harness these quick wins, how we can go from stress to success, chaos to calm, right? We really will delve deep into practical strategies that work with your child's natural tendencies rather than against them. But before I talk more about that again, I know, can you tell I'm excited? Let me leave you something that you can try today, because I'm always about practical tips and strategies, right? So next time your child is hyper-focused on something, they really are paying attention to that thing, their exercise, their game, their book, their art that we talked about earlier. Instead of feeling frustrated, what if you spent 10 minutes observing how they engage with it? Just watch them. Watch how amazing they are. Ask yourself, what environmental conditions helps them focus? What got them into that zone? What type of information captures their attention? What are they focusing so much on? And what happens when they get stuck? What happens? How do they act? The answers might actually surprise you, and they're often the key to unlocking success in other areas. One parent actually came to me and said she discovered her son needed background music to focus, just like when he was gaming. Another realized their daughter understood math better when she was presented it visually, like her favorite strategy games and her favorite art. If you're ready to discover your child's hidden strengths and transform them daily into challenges and breakthrough moments, come join me for the workshop. I'm really excited to help you achieve those quick wins. We're going to explore proven strategies, including our pattern interruption library and our success method. So come visit me. The link is in the show notes to secure your spot. I only have a limited number of spots because I want to make this a small gathering and not a large event. I want to make it more intimate so we can really talk to each other. So remember, your child's greatest challenges often hide in their greatest strengths. Let me repeat that. Your child's greatest challenges often hide their greatest strengths. Sometimes all it takes is adjusting the lens, right? Focus that lens to see them clearly. Okay. I hope that really helped. You parents are amazing. I know the struggle is real, but let's try some real easy changes, starting with you and your mindset. All right. Thanks for listening. And next time we'll talk about more little sneak peeks for our workshop. And I look forward to seeing you there. As always, keep it quirky. Bye-bye for now. Thank you for listening to Neuroquirky Nexus. We are so glad you took the time to join us today. I know time is precious, And we are so glad you're here. I hope you got a lot out of this episode. Please don't forget to post your activity using hashtag NeuroNexus. That's NeuroNexus. And of course, all links are in the show notes. And I just really hope you enjoyed it. So if you did, please like and subscribe and share this with a friend. I think this is really good for families that are new to being their child being diagnosed with ADHD. And I believe that the tips and tricks and resources I'll be sharing will be very helpful for all families, but especially new families. And finally, I am creating a workshop coming up to help families with ADHD finding and using a holistic, natural approach in support of a book chapter that I'm writing and articles and magazines that are coming out. But my workshop, I'm so excited about because I can work with you all one on one. If you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you again. And remember, let's keep it quirky. See you next time.